So first, let's talk about the use of something called Taboo. T-A-B-O, Taboo. This is just a simple water dipper, but it's used for everything as far as cleaning up goes, okay? Everything from washing yourself, right, to washing your low butt after you poop, right? They use their hand in water, soap, water, and their hand when they're cleaning their butt. No toilet paper, none of that stuff. So you're gonna have to get used to it. I know you're gonna be surprised because when I first came here, I'm like, where's the toilet paper? My girl handed me a Taboo dipper and said, here's your toilet paper right here, right? I had to learn. It was crazy to me to put your hand in your butt. I'm like, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I started off using toilet paper on the toilets here in the Philippines, and guess what happened? The toilet got stopped the heck up. And I was pissed. And they were saying, what are you guys doing? Are you guys putting paper in the toilet? Are you putting toilet paper inside of the toilet? I said, yeah, it's toilet paper. It's for the toilet. And they said, yeah, but not in the Philippines. We use Taboo.
Do you want the latest information for Philippine expats and expat vloggers? Then you're in the right place, as things are always happening with Philippine expats. Welcome to this Sunday's edition of Expat News, where I cover the latest news, stories, and events affecting expats and the expat vlogger community in particular in the Philippines. Well, hi, I'm Eric, and welcome to my Island Expats channel. Just as a reminder, these expat news videos come out on Sunday mornings here in the US, so you know when to expect them. I did miss last week for the first time due to a death in the family, so forgive me for that, but I had to attend to other things. Anyway, going on with this week's edition, make sure you stay tuned for the Every Couple Has a Story segment, and that's going to come up shortly as I give the story how one of our popular vlogger couples has met, and some of the details of their personal relationship that they're willing to share with us. And then that will be followed by the XAT Lightning Round, where I cover a few interesting short clips from expat vloggers. These will both happen after the main content of this video. All right, so let's get started with the main content. And for this week, we're going to do something a little different. We're actually going to start off with the video of the week. And this week, we're going to hear from Dean the Expat, because he's actually going to give us his life story. Now, I've edited it down and summarized it a bit. So if you want to see the full thing, you can go to his channel and check it out. But this is kind of a summarized version, because Dean shares some really interesting insights. In fact, he's really reflective of himself and his personal life. He has tremendous understanding of kind of his own life, how things have come together for him, and has created where he's at today based upon his previous experiences, basically. And Dean shares them in only the way he can, in a very personal, often funny, and authentic way. In fact, he explains why sometimes he's so funny. It's interesting, kind of some of his comments around that. Anyway, Dean shares the details of growing up on the other side of the tracks, about joining a gang. He is very young, 12, 13, 14 years old. And then, after losing a very close friend on the street, he passes one of those Marine recruiting centers. He says, man, that guy looks good in the uniform. And then didn't give it another thought. And then the next day he passed it again, and he was short his rent money, and he was working a job, and he needed to figure something out. And he goes and he signs up for the Marines. And lo and behold, he finds out that he's got leadership qualities, and he becomes a career Marine guy. Anyway, an interesting part of the story is that he had no idea where the Philippines was until the TV show 90 Day Fiancé sent him and his brother for 2 weeks to the Philippines to record the show. That's how he found out about it. He then goes back home, and then he's online for like 5 months or so, and he meets this Filipina. And then he decides, okay, it's time to go visit her. So he leaves for a 2-week trip. Well, it's 5 years later, and he's never left the Philippines. He's come back and forth to the U.S. for some personal things, but not to stay, just to come home for a college graduation for his daughter that he promised and kept his word to that. So anyway, let's get on with Dean's story. Here you go.
Ultimately, the first best decision I made in my life was going to the military, because that shaped me, that shaped my leadership, that shaped my morals as a man. But the second best decision that I've ever made in my life was moving right here to the Philippines. People see me on YouTube and, you know, I'm going all over the place and I'm having fun and I'm joking and I'm laughing and I'm making other people around me laugh and joke and have fun, right? But there's a phrase, right, that they say called the tears of a clown. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with this term, but basically this term refers to a person who has been through a lot in their life, but for some reason, when they come into the room, they want to make everybody happy. When they come into the room, they light up the room with positivity, you know, with jokes. You know what I'm saying? They can make any situation, right, seem, you know, humorous or funny or bring the light to even a bad situation. This is why they say the tears of a clown, because you think a clown is funny, but most people who have that disposition, a lot of them have been through a lot in their life. And I feel like that represents me to a T, because, dude, my life was a roller coaster, guys. One of the earliest memories I have was something that changed and molded the way that I was gonna be for the future years. And it was very tragic, okay? I was 7 years old and my father got into a horrific car accident, okay? That basically crippled him for the rest of his life. A little backstory about my dad. You know, he was always a giant to me, man, you know? 6'4", built like a bodybuilder, but he never touched a weight in his life. It was just genetics. So when he got into this terrible accident, man, that was my hero, man. It broke me, man. It broke me. It really, as a 7-year-old boy, you see this giant of a man come home and he's in a freaking wheelchair and he can't walk right. He flew 16 feet out of his windshield because a freaking drunk driver hit him. Made me feel like I had to step up at a young age. I'm telling you all this for a reason. So when you see all my videos and I'm playing around and I'm all this stuff, listen, my life was serious. I had to become a man very early. Especially, I mean, how much more when my mom and dad broke up. And it was just my mom, me, and my older brother. And, you know, I have a younger sister as well. And I have an older brother who's even older than the brother that lived with me all my life, Tariq. A lot of you guys are familiar with him from 90 Day Fiance. We'll get to that in a little bit. We'll talk about that because I was on that show with him as well. Man, listen, man, my mom struggled, man, just like everybody in my neighborhood. You see, I'm living in the Philippines now, so people tend to think that all Americans are rich, that all Americans, you know, have a lot of money. And maybe compared to, you know, a developing country, we have, you know, a lot more, but I didn't come from a rich background, guys. I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. My mom would work multiple jobs to keep us fed. And, you know, I got to give the utmost respect and love to my mom for raising two boys by herself, virtually by herself. my dad did what he could, but you know what I'm saying? He couldn't work. He was disabled. He only made a certain little money here and there. He always tried to help, but it was on my mom. Taking a leadership role because you have to, right, is the perfect training ground for your future. Even through the neighborhood, you know, me and my brother were leaders. People would follow us. You know, we got into the music at a very young age. Hip hop music was coming into play. Very, very important in my neighborhood was hip hop music. But, you know, another thing in my neighborhood, unfortunately, that was very pertinent was the gang culture. You know, the Crips and the Bloods. These are the biggest Black American gangs in the world. And now it's spread out all over. Like I said, it's spread out all over the world. It's not just a Black American thing. Now, Crips and Bloods Crips are in Japan. Crips are in Africa. Bloods are in, you know, England. It started in America and it expanded all over the world. But in my neck of the woods, right? You're talking 1991, 1992. Okay. I lived in a neighborhood called Five Oaks. This neighborhood was occupied by a blood gang called the Original Mary Bloods. And just a block away, there was another gang that was a Crip gang in a neighborhood called Dayton View, okay? And they were called the Dayton View Crips. Now, I always talk about Virginia because that's where I lived my formative years, like my 20s and all that stuff like that. But my adolescent years from the time I was born up to my teenage years before I went to the military, I was born in Dayton, Ohio, West Dayton, Ohio. Look it up. It ain't no party out there. It's raw. It's real. Okay. And when you think of America and you think of the American dream, you don't think of my neighborhood in America. No. It's gang ridden. It's drug infested. It's crime ridden. Okay. And especially at that time, I took the road of trying to follow some kind of masculinity, right? Because there was no Boy Scouts. Okay. There was no after school programs. My after school program was joining a gang and rolling with them because I looked up to these guys. I thought these guys represented what a man was. But I didn't realize that we were going to another neighborhood, fighting another gang of people who look just like us, fighting them, killing them. They kill one of ours, we kill one of theirs. And we're fighting over a neighborhood that we don't even own. The wake-up call was when one of my friends was brutally murdered on the streets, right? Left right there on the pavement for hours before the police and the ambulance and stuff like that even came. That was a wake-up call, man. But music was always something that was in my life, and I'm talking about hip-hop music, that, you know, deterred me away from getting too deep into the gang culture. So from about 15 all the way up into 18, 19 years old, I was pursuing a music career. Yeah, can you believe that? Damn, Dean Azim, the rapper. But I was actually pretty good, man. Maybe one day I'll try to find some of my old stuff that I did as a teenager and let you guys hear it. But yeah, that kept me away from a lot of stuff. Right there in my head, something clicked to me and said, you got to get out of this town, Dean. You got to do something different. And the day before that, I was downtown. I went past the recruiting station, the Marine Corps recruiting station. And I saw the guy standing out there. You know, he was having a cigarette or whatever, but he had his uniform on. I mean, he was sharp, tall, muscular, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, in my mind, I'm like, he's corny. That's corny. I'm never going to the military. But in the back of my mind, I was like, but the uniform is kind of cool. Damn, you know what I'm saying? And just as fast as that thought went into my mind, it went out of my mind. Because I was going to meet my homeboys to do some crazy stuff, you get me? But the next day when I got that eviction notice, it's funny how me walking past the recruiting station popped back into my mind. And it popped back into my mind as an option, as an out. Okay, I went to the recruiting station that next day and started talking to the guy about becoming a United States Marine. I did want to go to the military, but I said, okay, I'm not gonna go to the Army. I'm gonna go to the Marine Corps. Hardcore. Yeah. He got me out of there within about a week and a half. Okay, just in time before the sheriffs came and kicked me out of my house, of my apartment anyway, you know what I'm saying? And man, the military was a very shocking experience, dude. I had never had nobody yell at me in my life. And these dudes, these drill instructors, get over here right now. What are you doing? Drop down and give me 10. Drop down. I'm just like, what the freak have I got myself into? If you're strong, you adapt and overcome. And it got to a point in boot camp where I started understanding their schedule. Oh, at this time, they're gonna yell at us. Oh, at this time, they're gonna make us do push-ups. At this time, we're gonna eat. It became a routine. And then I became good, real good, to the point that I became squad leader, okay, of my squad. And getting promoted to that leadership position, it really gave me pride. And I never realized how much I enjoy leading people and being able to make decisions that affect all of us, right? I like to be the guy to say, put it on me, I got us. I got it, I'm gonna figure this out. They pushed him in that leadership position. Okay, you wanna talk, you wanna be a leader, you wanna tell people what's going on? Okay, let's see how good of a leader you can be. And they'll put you to the test in the military. And that's what I needed, man. Something happened to me, man, when we went over there to Iraq, man. Something got into me over there, man. And I ain't talking about physically sickness, but I'm talking about something happened to me mentally, man. When we were out there, from all the stuff we had to do, all the things we had to see, the stuff that we had to witness, our friends losing their life, man. Man, it still shakes me up sometimes, man, when I think about some of the stuff, man. It ain't no joke out there, man. And anytime somebody come back from war, give them time, man. Give them time, because they done been through some. I'm telling you, it ain't fun, man. And I'm telling you, man, you either gonna be strong and you're gonna fight hard and you're gonna make it home to your mama. You're gonna make it home to your family. Or you're gonna be a freaking coward and run and hide. I couldn't do that. I promised my mama that I was coming back home, and I came back home. I went hard out there, even though my friends were dying. That really messed me up, man. And when I got home from the military, I tried to act like wasn't nothing wrong with me. I was gonna be strong like Dad, you get me? I was gonna be tough. And I couldn't handle it, man. My first marriage, number one, we were 14 years apart, and she was 14 years my senior, okay? And yeah, that was kind of a crazy situation. That was never gonna work out, because whenever you're a man and you're with a woman that's that much older than you, it's hard to be the leader because she's lived so much life and she's had so many experiences that she wants to kind of tell you what to do. And if you're a very prideful man like I am, oh, you ain't telling me nothing, okay? So we were bumping heads like that the whole marriage. But the most beautiful thing that came out of that marriage was my daughter. And I'm so proud of her. So after the military, after two, failed marriages and stuff like that, man, I took a time where I just didn't deal with no relationships. I just went into my bubble. Now, at this time, my brother was courting Filipina, And he got an offer to be on a show called 90 Day Fiance. And they said, no, your brother, he has to be on your episodes with you. We want him to be on there. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'll do it, right? But they said, yeah, but you will have to go to the Philippines to film. I said, the Philippines? What? Now, mind you, the only place out of the country of America that I had ever been at this time was Iraq, you know what I'm saying, going to war, right? So I'm like, the Philippines? He's like, yeah, he's actually, your brother's gonna go to the Philippines. He's gonna court, his girl and, be there with her and stuff. And we want you to go there with him so that he'll have an opposing opinion. So, so I said, all right, I'll go. So when I went out there, a transition occurred. The first thing I found out, that Hazel, my brother's now wife, was really a good girl. She was really good for him. That's the first thing I found out. The second thing I found out was that the Philippines is freaking awesome. It woke me up. The way the people here, the way the people are here. Honestly, I'll be honest, how beautiful the women here are, right? Sunshine year round. All these things started to correlate in my mind, even though I'm just keeping it in my mind. I'm not saying it to my brother, but I'm looking around. I'm peeping out the place, right? A way to reset my life again. In my mind, I said, you know what? I'm gonna move there. And I'm gonna get me a girl from there. Okay, that's what I said in my mind. No, go to this site right here. It's called FilipinaCupid.com. And I went on the site and I went through a whole lot of different Filipinas, trust me, because some of them were scammers, okay? Until I saw Regine. I saw Regine on her profile picture and she was wearing a form-fitting gray dress. And this was before she had our 2 kids or whatever. So she was slim and curvy. And I'm like, I thought Filipinas was skinny. Oh no, this girl got curved. We chatted for about 5.5 months. Became best friends. Got to the point where my day wasn't right unless I got on WhatsApp with this woman right here, right? She filled that void in my life that I was having at that rough time where I didn't have nobody. I felt like I didn't have nobody. And of course, you want your woman to be nice looking. You want her to be curvy. You want her to be this. You want her to be that. But ultimately, for a person of a certain age, which was me at that time, late 30s, you also want a companion. And that's what she became to me. My lover and my friend. And that was important, man, especially at that time. And so after 5 months, 5.5 or so months of chatting and stuff, I finally decided to come down here to the Philippines. The goal was to come down here and court Regine and have fun with her and do all the stuff that we wanted to do for 10 days. That was the goal. 10 days. Well, I'm here to tell you guys that I've been here 5 years and we got 2 kids, okay? That's how good this life has been for me here with my girl Regine in the Philippines.
And now for our Every Couple Has a Story segment. This week is from Fly Me to the Philippines with Rob and Chrissy. In the last 15 months since they've met, this couple has carved out quite a niche in the expat vlogger space. In fact, they're trending as one of the top vloggers in the entire space at this point. And they work very well together on camera as a team. They bring some interesting content, and they often share some expat stories with episodes referred to as the Expat Diaries. So if you hear them say, hey, we're going to do our Expat Diaries, then here comes a great story. Some of them are quite interesting. Anyway, Rob and Chrissy will share their story, and then a little bit more about their personal relationship. as they are an engaged couple and are planning to get married this fall. They have a 37-year age gap. Though, when you look at them on camera, I don't really see it. It's kind of interesting that way. She's actually 31 and he's 68. But she's very attractive, but she's very put together, and I don't know. It's really funny. It doesn't jump out at me at some other couples in the age difference. So I'm curious to kind of see what you guys think. But technically, there are 37 years between them, even though it really doesn't look like it. He's also a very young-looking 68-year-old. Anyway, the wedding is planned for October, so I hope you enjoy all these segments. Every couple has a story, because to me, they're very unique, and it's just something fun to watch. And sometimes they're surprising. So anyway, let's take a look and see what they have and enjoy this segment. Here you go.
This video for today is about revealing the real relationship that I have with Rob.
Very interesting subscriber comments. Some of them, they're hard to wake up to. They're kind of mean-spirited. People are not okay with our age gap of 37 years. You're going to share it all.
Yeah, I'm going to share it all today. We're going to reveal everything.
Today, we're going to let you answer these questions and describe our relationship. I'm going to ask a few of these questions, and then I'm going to leave the patio.
Really?
I'm going to leave the theater. The production studio, it will be vacated, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to do a little mini Chrissy Tells All.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I know, it's all spontaneous. That's our relationship. It's kind of
So
spontaneous.
you're really giving me a chance to reveal to them our relationship without you watching.
Yeah, I get to edit. I'll be in the editing suite.
That would be interesting.
People are always comparing us to Kathy Lee and Regis Philbin. There was a talk show host in America, and there was a huge age gap between the hosts. And we have 37-year age gap.
Yes.
But they have good chemistry.
Yeah.
And I think we have good chemistry.
I think I feel it.
Yeah, some people feel like I talk too much, but I think we have good chemistry.
Now,
everybody, I don't need you to write in that I talk too much. Okay, so Chrissy, people, one of the things I hear all the time is, oh, when you're 75 years old, let's see what it'll look like then. Let's see if she'll still be with you then. Let's see if you claim to be in love then.
Yeah.
What do you say to these haters? Haters gonna hate.
Yeah, haters gonna hate, and it's their opinion. Maybe they already witnessed a lot of couples that are just good in the very beginning, and then when the problem occur, it could be the man or the woman had disappeared because they were just there for the happy moments, but not in the tough moments.
Now, we've heard from a lot of people that, hey, you don't really know these Filipinas, these young girls, if they're big 37-year age gap, you be careful. You don't know what you're getting involved with. She'll change. What do you think? We've worked together every single day for the last 15, 16 months.
Yeah.
We have been together every single minute.
Yeah. So I think those comments, that kind of comments, I think it's you who's able to answer that, because if it's me that's going to answer, of course I'm gonna defend myself, but I think they will believe if it will come from you. Of what do you think? Do you think, Chrissy? Do you think I will be here with you 10 years from now, or even 5 years from now?
I know that I'll be getting older and not as handsome as you age, and you'll remain very beautiful. And I think people want to hear you speak to it and answer the questions about our relationship. I think we have a good physical relationship, and I'm afraid to see what you would say if left alone on that subject. I would remember it's a family show. Last time we talked about
So you're gonna ask
I had
me
to stop
questions?
you a few times.
You're gonna ask me questions about it?
Well, no, I'm going to let you speak to our relationship, the strength of it. Even before we met in person, we talked about the fact that you wanted to be married.
Yeah.
And how you felt. Well, how would it feel? Like from your point of view, if you meet an expat and he just doesn't want to marry you, what do you think?
Well, I don't know, because what's the purpose of being together if you're not gonna put a solid glue in it? That anytime it could just go away. If those married people still had this chance to break up, how much more if you don't have marriage that existed in your relationship?
Well,
That's just in my own. There's a lot of people there that telling me that, well, you were married before and you didn't able to save your relationship. Well, that's another story. And there's a relationship that really worth fighting for, but there's a relationship that is worth letting go.
And if you're interested in Chrissy's backstory, she speaks for 40 minutes on a video called Happy Ending.
What's the 48 minutes?
And we have over 330,000 views. It's our #1 video and like 1,500 subscribers. And people wrote in, they couldn't believe how she opened up. So if you want to hear Chrissy talk about her past relationship and her life story, watch the video Happy Ending. And I talk about my journey, my 1-year journey of meeting Filipina, and I call it Instant Girlfriend. And you can watch that video here after this one's over. Yeah. And Chrissy reveals all of our intimate business. We have a lot of positive things going on in this relationship, and we get a lot of subscribers. They don't all hate on us. And I spoke to 2 consulting clients this morning, and both had the exact same thing to say, which is like, you guys have this great relationship. You've got this give and take. It comes through on the camera. They tell us we're relaxed, and they can see how playful we are sometimes. And we don't really act as playful as we really are. Well, anyway, I'm doing a lot of talking. I promise people we're going to let Chrissy. And for those who think that Chrissy's voice is not heard, our channel is a little different. We do videos where I do solo videos. We do videos where Chrissy does solo videos. We do videos where I interview Chrissy. We do videos where she interviews me. We do this Regis and Kathy Lee thing. We have guests on and we interview other people. But I'm aware that you want to hear Chrissy's voice. And so what I've done is I've created videos where I interview with a real Filipina. I ask the questions, but Chrissy goes on. It's a 40+ minute video and over 30,000 views. You want to hear Chrissy in her own voice explain to you what it's like. And that's what you want to hear. We introduce other videos so you can hear Chrissy in her real voice. And today, right now, right this minute, I'm going to launch you on a video. Talk, and you're going to tell people about our relationship and what it's like living here in the Philippines with an expat, and how this relationship differs with the other relationship you were in, and how you see our future as I get older and you get into your mid and late 30s. And are you scoot over?
I'm not prepared.
Scoot over. I am now giving the stage 1,000% to my beautiful Filipina, and I will allow her to speak to you, the subscriber audience.
Hello there, everybody. It's a surprise. Chrissy Tells All episode. I didn't see this coming. I will be talking very, very slow so that I can process every word that I'm going to say. But I will make sure that all of the things that I'm going to say here right now will be coming from my heart, my real emotion. First of all, I'm going to say Rob and I are really in love with each other, and we have real romantic relationship. And soon we will be getting married. I am so happy with that. And I know it's an event that we're anticipated by some other viewers. So thank you very much. Actually, the other day I prepared questions for Rob, which is not intended for video making, but just intended for him to answer it so that I will know his feelings towards our relationship, because we are already 1 year, over 1 year actually, being together. So the question number 1 that I'm going to ask myself is, what do you think your younger self would think of your relationship? My younger self. Well, when I was young, I was very hardworking. My focus was just about family and my education, and also my future job. I didn't really think much of the relationship until I got married at the age of 26. So I think my younger self will be proud of the relationship that I have right now with Rob. My younger self will be proud of me for staying strong, even though all the problems and the trials that I've been through with my previous relationship. My younger self is happy for my current relationship right now. Number 2 questions. What is the most surprising thing that I've learned from Rob? Since I only have a limited experience of being in a relationship and living together with a man, with a husband in the house, I didn't have a lot of knowledge how to solve, how to handle when it comes to problems and conflicts. And Rob's methods of handling it, of solving the problem, kind of like surprised me. He has this method that is really effective and friendly to the relationship, because sometimes when someone will try to solve the problem, someone will try to talk to you about your mistakes that you've committed in your relationship, sometimes instead of solving the problem, it could hurt the relationship even more. His method is in a way that will calm my emotion, calm my heart, and will make myself reflect to my own mistake. Now, my number 3 question for myself is, in what way do I think Rob and I evolved in our relationship? I would say we evolved in our relationship through working together, spending time together, having conversation all the time, and being emotionally honest and open to each other. Like, if I'm upset, or if I'm sad, or there is something that bothers me, I feel confident to open up. I feel like there's nothing wrong if I'm gonna open up, and I'm not scared of what his reaction will be. If I'm upset with him, I have this feeling that I can be honest and tell him that I'm upset. Because sometimes in a relationship, you will be afraid to be honest with your partner because you are thinking that it could hurt your relationship when you will be honest. But with him, I feel free. I feel the freedom to open up myself. Number 4 question is, when did I feel so much proud of Rob? Well, every day. Every day that I can see him still telling me that he loves me, still showing me that he cares for me. Every day I feel so proud of him because I'm not perfect. I'm not the perfect Filipina that everybody is dreaming, but he put up with my imperfections, and I'm so proud of him with that. Number 5 questions for myself. What excites you the most about life? Well, the future. Our plans together, including our wedding, including our marriage, and also the plans that we have talked about for our future. Number 6 question is, how can Rob make me feel more certain on our future together? Well, every day he gave me an assurance that he loves me and that he's not gonna leave me and he's not gonna, cheat on me. So, him being so super true to himself, super true to me, being so open, and he's very transparent on all the plans. He doesn't keep secrets, and that made me feel certain of our relationship together in the future. For example, if there is something that I'm gonna propose to him, like I want this, I want to go there, or I want to do this, but he thinks that it's not helpful to our relationship, he will not say he don't like it and he don't want me to do it, but he would say he's not going to dictate what I want, but he will explain to me the pros and cons of the certain thing that I wanted to do. So for me, Rob is the most supportive person in the whole world that I have ever met. Rob will be back here.
Hey, Chrissy, I've got bad news. I have to share with you and everybody. I've been having a secret love affair. I'm announcing it here right now. Filipinos are jealous, but I have to tell people, and it's with a local nut, cashew.
You get a lot of surprises.
You know what? Our wedding got delayed, and I was on a glide path.
I didn't believe that. I
was on a glide path to show up in my best suit, looking all svelte and super keto friendly, and then we picked up a 45, 60-day delay. and I kind of had a love affair with a local cashew. We grow cashews here in CDO, about 10 miles away from here. There's a cashew farm, and I fell in love with the local cashew, and I got a little bit of a waistline developing.
Yeah. What a revealing secret.
It was another love affair.
I know. It's okay. I can stand
as
with
long
cashew.
as it's a fruit or vegetable.
Yeah,
You're okay.
I don't even care if you're gonna put that in your bed.
But now this is big news. We had to send my certified divorce papers. Weren't good enough. We had to send them to the Secretary of State of Arizona, and we waited 10 business days. And we watched the FedEx, and it didn't move. And we looked to see if they called us, and we hadn't received a call. But yesterday, our document is on its way back. Now, we don't know if a apostille did or if they have a problem with what we sent them, but we're hopeful that in about 5 days, we'll have all of our documents for our marriage ready. Your brother went to Zamboanga. We put him on a bus overnight.
Yeah, to get some of the papers needed.
He took a 7-hour bus ride. He had a letter from you and your identification, and we've got that back. So we feel like we're going to be back in process, and we're aiming for late October. It's been well over a year, and we work together. We sit there in the editing suite and like, cut that. No, I don't want to cut that. You know, we have issues, and I think that we've been road tested, so to speak. You know, stress tested. What do you think?
Yeah, I think in our relationship, there is really a difference when in front of the camera and off camera, I would say. Because in front of the camera, we are like more professionals, although we are engaged, we are about to get married, but sometimes people may ask if we are really in a relationship because we're like just hosting here, but I would say off camera, it's different. We are like more into each other, and we are more affectionate to each other. Yeah. So, well, that's off camera, and I don't think so. If we need to show that to the people for them to believe our love to each other, like there are a lot of people that are asking you if do I really love you, you know, because we have this huge age gap.
Am I fooled?
Yes.
And people, let me just this, you know, people think that I'm rich, and this was, you know, I am rich because I have Chrissy at my side, and I got lucky in terms of renting this I just rent this property because I don't have the money to buy property here. I don't have I used to be wealthy.
You don't?
And I used to have a big corporate job, but I kind of got washed out in a real estate debacle in 2008. And this property here, I pay $50,000 in rent because we have a business together. And it doesn't take that much money. I just think, you know, you could live this lifestyle without the extended family. 2,500. We did a budget about 6 months back, and we were spending roughly 2,500 per month, not including your allowance. So between $2,500 and $3,000 a month, you can live this lifestyle. You can pay 50,000 pesos in rent. Food is not that expensive. We don't go out too much. We don't drink alcohol. We travel a little bit here and there. It's going to cost a couple $1,000s to get married. My health insurance renewal is coming up. That's another $1,500. Those are big expenses. We have a transportation solution we'll share with you in the future. We cheaped out. We didn't buy an SUV. And so that'll be another episode. But we have to get CJ to school at 8 a.m. and we got to come home. We got to pick him up at 11 and come home. For the most part, life here was very, very reasonable. And let's clear that up. I'm not rich by any means. I think I'm quite typical, actually.
And I was aware before we met.
I think one of the first things I did to you is I showed you my driver's license. I showed you my age. Back then I was 66. Yeah. I think it's a terrible idea to meet somebody on false premises and to begin with a lie.
No, it's not a good idea because when they find out the truth, it could cause a really big problem.
Lack of trust.
And the trust issue that you're gonna have in the future.
Yeah.
But then you were so honest when we met online about your age and about
my vision for the future.
The financial, your plan. You like really presented it to me the way you presented it.
Back then, I didn't realize I was the prize. I was the highly desired commodity. So I saw myself as quite lucky, and I was probably a little nervous of how I was going to manage capturing you. Right? And I was worried you would want to come to America, or a lot of women want to get a green card in America, work as a nurse, or work full-time, send big money back home to their relatives in the Philippines, and that my goal was to come live here in the Philippines.
Now it's time for the Expat Lightning Round. where I quickly go through and cover some interesting clips from expat-related channels. You know, maybe something funny, something I thought was interesting, something shocking. They're meant to be kind of moving along pretty quickly from clip to clip, and that's why it's called the lightning round. So sometimes they're a little longer than others, but that's kind of the idea. So take a look and see what you think.
Every single party in the Philippines should have a lechon. It's tradition, guys. Lechon is for people that don't know, is a full roasted pig or hog, however you want to say it. And it's become a tradition in the Philippines to have what you call a lechon baboy, at your party. If you ain't got a lechon, it ain't no party.
So what happened to your eyelashes?
Oh, I took them off.
You had much more natural beauty today.
Yes, let's just stop pretending.
Well, you were stunning before.
Still stunning. Would you agree, guys?
I think you would agree.
Let me tell you about the Philippines, man. They're a very superstitious people, right? They don't believe you should cut your nails at nighttime. I don't know why, but you don't do it, okay? They believe if a woman is pregnant and she has to go out at night, that she should wear what color? Black, itum, always. Why? Because the wak-wak will snatch your child out of your belly, right?
Like they can smell, man.
They can smell your baby, the infant in your belly.
That's why,
You see what I'm saying? Dude, they save kids' belly button, the umbilical cord part that comes off, they save it and put it in a Ziploc bag, and they say that if you save it and you don't throw it away, the kid will have a good personality. I'm not lying. You know I'm telling the truth, right? Auntie Lady told us that, right? Right? I'm just telling you some of these superstitions that they have here. I had never heard of this stuff in my life, dude. I'm like, huh? It's like, are you serious? She's like, yes, don't throw that umbilical cord away. Okay, I won't throw it away. But I mean, it must work because my kids have great personalities. Damn! Even if you go into like some woods or a forest area and you're not familiar with it, in the Philippines, you say tabi tabi po. Now, why are you saying tabi tabi po? To give respect to all the forest creatures that's in there. And I don't mean regular animals, I mean creatures, okay? This is what they believe. But who are we to tell somebody that what they believe is wrong?
Okay, by the time you watch this video, as I mentioned before, I'll be on the way to the Philippines, leaving from LAX and heading out. So on this trip, I'm going to several locations in the Philippines that viewers have recommended for me to visit as a place for me to personally consider where I should move there to in the future. And the details of this have been covered in the Expat Challenge videos. So if you haven't seen that primary Expat Challenge video, you want to take a look at that, and it'll give you some background of several places I'm considering, the top 10 things I'm looking for to live in the Philippines in a particular area, and the 9 places that I'm considering. And I give you actual video footage because I've been to most of these places and covered some of it to actually show you what it looks like. And then upon my return, I'll bring back a lot of details and additional footage. And all these places that I visited, I'm going to show you, and I'll post it here on my Island Expats channel. In fact, I'm going to bring the drone with me. And this is something new that I just picked up in the last week or so. And I had to learn to fly. It's kind of fun, actually. Kind of feel like, you know, a kid or something with the remote control stuff. And once I got kind of used to it and did a lot of test flights, I think I'm ready to go. So hopefully I won't lose it in the drink in the Philippines. But that should add some interesting footage of the different places I go to give you a different perspective. All right. So that's going to do it for this week. That's this edition of Expat News. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notifications button so you can be notified when the future videos are ready and they come out and they're available. It will tell you if you hit the notifications button. Please let me know your comments in the comment section. I'd love to know your thoughts. I always want the feedback on Expat News. Good, bad, or indifferent, let me know what you think and what I can do to make it better. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time once I'm back from the Philippines. Take care.